We're standing at this incredible crossroads in history. We're facing a choice, a really critical one, about the fundamental architecture of the next internet. And it's a decision we have to make consciously and pretty soon. Because the infrastructure we decide to build today, well, it's going to define how humans and AI coexist for centuries to come.
Okay, so let's just dive right in with the core question here. The internet, as we know it, is being rebuilt from the ground up. But get this, it's not for us humans. It's being built for the trillions, and I mean trillions, of autonomous AI agents that are starting to flood our digital world. This is the beginning of what people are calling the agentic economy, and it brings up a massive question. Who gets to write the rules this time? Who's going to own the blueprints for these new digital highways?
So in this explainer, we're going to break this whole thing down. First, we'll talk about what this new agentic internet even is. Then we'll get into the huge identity crisis it's creating. After that, we're going to pull a really important lesson from the history of the dot-com boom. Then we'll explore a potential solution, basically digital passports for AI. And this all leads to the ultimate payoff, what might just be AI's true killer app. And finally, we'll land on the critical choice that is sitting right in front of us right now.
All right, first up, the next internet is already arriving. You see, for the last few decades, the web has been all about us. We click, we type, we scroll. But that whole paradigm is shifting under our feet. We're moving to an agent-centric web, where these autonomous systems start doing things for us, and that changes the very nature of how everything online works.
Now, what's really important to get here is the difference between what we're used to and what's coming. We've all gotten pretty comfortable with AI as a co-pilot, right? Think of ChatGPT helping you write an email. Agentic AI, that's a whole different beast. It's an autopilot. These are systems that don't just give you suggestions. They think, they plan, and they go out and execute complex, multi-step tasks all by themselves. They're becoming the new movers and shakers in the digital economy.
But all of this incredible potential is building up to a massive, massive challenge. This new agentic economy, for all its promise, has this giant, gaping hole right at its very foundation.
And that challenge is all about sheer scale. I mean, we are not talking about millions or even billions of these agents. The projections are for hundreds of trillions of autonomous AI agents and bots operating online. That's a number that just dwarfs the entire human population. It dwarfs the number of websites. It completely changes the game.
So here's the billion-dollar question, or maybe trillion-dollar question. With all these agents interacting, how do you know who or what to trust? Right now, there is no universal identity system for them. Zilch. There's no way to prove if an agent managing your money is legit or if it's some malicious bot about to drain your account. There's zero accountability. It's basically a recipe for digital chaos, and it opens the door for a few giant corporations to step in, control the whole system, and own the highways of this new internet. Now, this whole problem might seem brand new, but we've actually faced this kind of big architectural choice before. Some of us were actually there, right at the epicenter of the dot-com boom. So let's just wind the clock back a bit to the dawn of the commercial web and see what we can learn. And this comparison just lays it out so perfectly. You've got two paths. On one side, you have the dot-com model. It's run by a private company, VeriSign, and that revenue, nearly $1.6 billion a year, goes mainly to its shareholders. But then you have this other model. The tiny island of Anguilla controls the .ai domain. The money from that doesn't just go to a corporation, it funds their public services. We're talking a staggering 16% of their entire country's GDP. One model privatizes the value, the other one socializes it. So that begs the question, what if we could take that second model, the public benefit one, and apply it to this new agentic economy? Well, that brings us to a really clear, powerful vision for what the future could look like.
I love this quote because it just nails the core idea. We've all been so focused on prompts. That's how we talk to AI co-pilots. But for autopilots, for these autonomous agents that are going to be navigating our complex world, they need more. They need passports. A verifiable, trusted identity isn't just a feature, it is the foundational layer. And whoever builds and governs that layer, they aren't just creating a product, they are literally designing the rails of the next internet.
You've probably heard that old saying about the gold rush, right? The people who made the real fortunes weren't the ones digging for gold. They were the ones selling the shovels. That's exactly the idea here. We need to create the digital shovels, a globally governed public benefit registry for these AI agents. Think of it like a DMV for bots. Each agent would get a unique, verifiable digital ID from this registry. It could take the form of new domains like .agent, .agi, or .robots, all built on secure, decentralized tech to make sure it's trustworthy and accountable.
But look, this isn't just about some nerdy technical infrastructure. Building this thing unlocks a truly profound socioeconomic opportunity. And this is where we get to the ultimate payoff, the real why behind this whole vision.
Just stop and think about this for a second. If the little .ai domain can fund 16% of a whole country's economy, what could a global identity system for trillions of agents fund? What if that monumental river of revenue wasn't just captured by a single corporation, but was instead channeled back to all of humanity?
And that leads you to this really powerful realization. For all the hype about AGI and superintelligence, maybe we've been missing the point. Maybe the ultimate society-transforming killer app for AI isn't just raw intelligence. Maybe it's care. Maybe it's about using this incredible technological leap to build a system of global human welfare.
So, to make that concrete, the vision is to channel the tiny fees from all these trillions of agent registrations and renewals directly into a fund for a worldwide universal basic income, or UBI. So every time an agent pays its little digital road tax, that value flows back to people. In a world like that, the automation economy stops being this scary threat that's going to take all our jobs, and instead it becomes the very engine that powers a global social safety net.
Okay, so this brings us to our final section, the choice. Because this vision, it isn't some far-off sci-fi dream. It's a decision that has to be made right now within a very specific and very fleeting window of opportunity.
Now, check this out, because this is what creates the urgency. The rules for the Internet's naming system, they're governed by this group called ICANN, and they do not open up applications for new domains like .agent very often. The last time they did this was way back in 2012. The next window, our one shot to propose this public benefit model, opens in 2026. This is it. This is our moment to shape the next 30 years of the digital world.
So ultimately, it all comes down to this one simple idea. This technology is moving at a blinding speed. And if we just sit back and do nothing, this new agentic world is going to get built for us. And it'll probably be built on a private monopolistic model. But if we act now, we have a chance to be the architects. We can choose to build a digital world where the incredible productivity of AI directly serves humanity. The only real question left is, which future are we going to choose to build?